Welcome to the Headspace and Tasting Podcast, where we talk manhood, tell stories, and discuss the stuff that matters to us one sip at a time. Hey, welcome to the Headspace and Tasting Podcast. Welcome, Kevin.
Hello, Matt.
We're recording a few days early today, but we're still going to put this out at the same time,
Right.
Monday morning. I almost missed putting it out this morning because I was off today, so my whole schedule my routine was just all screwed up, man. You know, I'm a creature of habit.
Well, thanks for the reminder, because I'm working in chaos right now, and I forgot all about the fact that it was Monday, and I should get it all published. So,
well, you're the slacker today,
not
I am.
And it's all my fault.
It is.
I'm visiting.
Our guest today, Dr. Doug. Welcome to the show, friend.
Thank you.
Doug and I met 7 years ago now. 2019 we met. 2020. 6 years ago.
When did you get married?
Come on, dude. Don't do me like that.
You're the one that opened yourself up.
I don't know.
So we met a few years ago and in Savannah, and it was a fortuitous meeting.
We need to rewind this tape.
I don't care. I'll take my lashings later. It's fine. 2021 is when we were married.
That sounds a little bit better.
In the lovely month of May. And so we went to, Caitlin and I had just been married a couple days before. We went to Service Brewing Company in Savannah, Georgia, and it was raining buckets. And I remember vividly how hard it was raining. And so we went in, got our beer. By the time we finished ordering, the sun was shining again. And we went and picked a table outside because it was nice spring weather. It wasn't super humid, even though it had just rained. We saw a table over next to us. There was 2 beers on the table and a book. And that book was something I had just finished reading, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Repair. And I noticed that. So we're sitting, sipping on our beers, and Doug comes out and sits down, picks up his book. I said, "Hey, man, that's a good book. I just finished reading it." You know, something to that. Like, I hope you enjoy it. It's a great book. And then we started having a conversation. Well, where are you guys from? And we're out of Columbia, South Carolina, basically. I was outside, you're outside. But 30 minutes apart from each other we lived. And we met in Savannah. And we just sat there and drank beer and had a long conversation. Found out that I'm from the St. Louis area. Doug had visited Wash U at one point. And just started a friendship. And we've stayed in touch ever since. And now you're traveling the country on the tail end of a pretty epic journey. And you stopped here in my hometown for a visit. We went to the Lewis and Clark Boathouse today. Went over to the Bike Stop Cafe, had a beer, and just visited, man. It's good to see you again. It really is.
Great to see you too.
It's fun.
And things have so changed. Caitlin, you got two beautiful children now.
That's right.
Wow.
Yep. So let's get into your story, man. Let's introduce everybody to who you are.
Okay.
And it was real interesting talking to you and learning about your past and all that. And I was just super curious to hear more. And you came on a previous podcast that shall not be named. And I think we did like a 4-hour show or something.
It was a marathon.
It was a long one, man.
Yeah.
Oops, dropped my pen. So you were born and raised in New Jersey. What town in New Jersey?
As it turns out, Long Branch. Never
Long
lived
Branch?
in Long Branch. In
Oh,
Monmouth.
you were born in Long Branch but never lived there?
Well, that's where the main hospital
Oh, yeah,
was.
I guess I was born in Creve Coeur, but I never lived there.
I was, Long Branch, New Jersey. And as it turns out, I spent my childhood, very early childhood, down in the Pine Barrens. And then my parents moved up to
Where all the bodies got dumped.
as far as we know, yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. And then my parents moved. Of course, I was unaware of all this stuff, to Neptune City.
Oh, interesting name.
Yeah, right on a mile from the shore.
Oh, okay.
And that was transformative.
Yeah.
Because by the time I was 3, I was in love with the ocean.
Mm.
And Jacques Cousteau was on
okay.
TV all the time, and so I wanted to be a scuba diver. So by the time I was 12, I actually started scuba diving.
Wow.
Not a minute of training, but I had a crazy friend who had a mother who went and rented us a tank, took us down to the beach, gave us a dime, and said, "Give me a call when you're done." And we literally went down to Avon Beach, and we used that whole tank up.
This is incredibly dangerous. But you
didn't phase us in the least.
Yeah. What you don't know can't hurt you, I guess, until you drown.
Well, listen. Sorry, I'm going to jump ahead
Go
in
ahead.
the story. So now I'm like 18 years old, and I'm at Brown University, and I go and actually take a course to get certified.
And then you
for
realized
certification.
how much danger
and
you
I had been diving all along. I had scuba tanks and all kinds of diving at night, doing all this kind of stuff, taking my friends up into a quarry, Quincy Quarry in Massachusetts. We went down 180 feet.
Oh my
We used to go under the ice. And so now I'm sitting there in this course to get certified. And this guy is going through and going, "Well, you never want to do this." And I'm going, check.
Oops.
Never want to do this. Oh, gosh, done that. Never want to do this, done that. Anyway, I got my certification.
Okay. All right. So you did your undergrad studies at Brown University in Rhode Island. And you played soccer there at Brown?
Yes.
Was that a scholarship situation?
Yeah.
You're a big soccer player in high school and all that? Okay.
My baseball coach, who was also the soccer coach, who probably didn't know diddly squat about soccer, promoted me as, a potential All-American.
Okay.
Never came close. But anyway, it got me into Brown. Got me into West Point and Annapolis, too. I had appointments and turned those down.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I never liked to have anyone control me.
Well, yeah, that would have been you would have been straight to Vietnam, probably.
Yeah, and I wanted a PhD in oceanography. And I went,
Okay.
all right, let's do the math here, Doug. What's possibly going to get you to a PhD first? Going to Brown and then going to graduate school? Or, I would have gone Navy family. Or, but then officer for 6 years and then maybe getting into the Naval Oceanographic School. I said, Brown.
Okay. So what did you study at Brown? Oceanography or what?
I was there at a very interesting time. They did away with majors. It was a revolution.
Oh.
Wow. Sounds like today.
What year was that?
67. 68.
68.
69.
Okay. Yeah.
Ira Magaziner, I still remember the character's name, kind of took over the school. He was a student. And they did away with the curriculum, so you could make your own major.
Oh, that sounds productive.
And well, it was for me.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do, I didn't want to do a straight geology degree, and I didn't want to do a straight biology degree, because I wanted to. And so I actually have a BA, not a Bachelor of Science, in geology biology, and I was able to cherry pick out of geology and biology the courses that I need, and then I ended up getting into graduate school and using all of those.
Well, that actually does sound kind of like you can,
as
long as it'll translate to your next level, they would say, okay, you have all the studies. That kind of makes sense.
It worked for me. It got me into a PhD program.
I would imagine they have to be related. It couldn't be like aeronautics fine art.
No,
and you're like, that doesn't make sense.
Well, listen, here was part of the rationale. One of the things you had to do to get a geology degree was take structural geology.
Oh, okay.
And mineralogy and petrology. So, those are fundamentals. Taught by assholes. I mean, serious assholes. And I went, pfft. So here I am then now, an assistant professor at the University of South Carolina, and I got to teach Geology 101. So guess what?
It's your turn.
I had to bust my tail to go and learn, all right? Especially the mineralogy and the petrology. So I basically I was schooling myself. I taught myself what I needed to know, right, for those particular parts of geology that I was deficient in.
Okay.
Okay. But I bypassed some real pain, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
So you got your Bachelor of Arts and then went up to get your PhD at University of Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
Anything interesting about that besides you fell in love with Rhode Island?
Well, when I graduated from Brown, my professors, I worked with a member of the National Academy of Sciences, John Embry. I worked in his lab. I was a lab tech, and so when and so this guy's connected, right? So when I was getting ready to go to graduate school, they wanted me to go to Columbia University. They wanted me to go to Oregon State, Miami, and a couple other top tier places. And I said, no, I want to go. I loved Rhode Island. I said, no, I want to go to the Graduate School of Oceanography at URI. Worked with a Kiwi, a New Zealander, Jim Kennett. And they just looked at me like, you want to do what? I said, yep. All right. So I stayed in state, went down to URI, and worked with Jim Kennett. Had incredible opportunities and learned so much.
Cool, man. Postdoc back at Brown.
Yeah.
And what does postdoctoral work mean? What do you do there?
It for me, it was a time to make hay. Man, I had access to a lab, state-of-the-art lab, one of the few in the country. Mm-hmm. And I worked my tail off. I had when I finished my year there, I had so much data. Okay, I published 6 papers out of my dissertation. In fact, I set new grounds at URI. I went to Kennett and I said, I don't want to write a dissertation. There are so many one and dones out there. I didn't say that to him, but it's well known. A lot of PhDs are one and done. You do your dissertation, you quote publish it, which means it went to the library, all right, and then they don't do anything, right? I said, I want to write my dissertation as a series of manuscripts. He said, oh, that's an interesting idea. So I wrote 6 manuscripts, almost ready for publication, okay? Because after all, publisher perishes is the name of the game. And so Kenneth approved it. I went in to defend my dissertation. And there was this Welshman, paleomagician.
A paleo what?
Studied paleomagnetics.
Magnetics. Okay, not paleo magic.
Yeah. And okay. he was a big competitor with Kennett.
So anyway, like the polar magnet and the
oh yeah, the poles switch.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's what he studied.
Yeah. Wow.
He was a big competitor with Kennett.
Okay.
And he and I had knocked heads before. He stood up in the middle of my dissertation defense and turned around to all his students that were there, okay, and said, I just want to let everybody know that your dissertations are going to be modeled after Williams's dissertation.
Oh.
All right? You're going to be written in a form of manuscripts. So then I went to Brown.
And they all cussed your name after that.
They
like,
did.
Son of a...
They did. I've been making friends my whole life.
Yeah, I see.
Right. So anyway, so I go to Brown. I get this postdoc, and I just crammed up. And then I get this phone call.
Is postdoc work you working to try to prove the things that you wrote your dissertation on? Or is it pet projects, things that you're just interested? Like, I'm just do what I want?
I was free to work on whatever I wanted to.
Wow. So what did you work on? What did you pick? Like, were you like, I want to look at this little microorganism?
No, actually,
Mariana's Trench or whatever.
They were fossil microorganisms.
Okay.
As a matter of fact.
All right.
Because they had this state-of-the-art lab there.
So do they have a library of fossil microorganisms that you can
actually there are libraries
pick from, or you just like
they're called core repositories.
Okay.
All right, and there's I don't know about 6 or 7 of them around the country. So if you go out on a cruise and you take a sediment core out in the Arctic.
Yeah.
And then you bring it back. It's not totally yours. You sample it, and then they put it in this repository.
Okay.
So you go off and you analyze those and you publish your paper.
So you would just put in an order to these repositories saying, hey, I'm a postdoc student or a postdoc. Is it considered a student?
Just postdoc.
Postdoc. I'm a postdoc at Brown. And and then they send it to you in the mail?
No, you go down and actually sample it yourself.
Yeah. Oh, they don't let it leave.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a refrigerated facility in which there are these racks with just sediment cores like everywhere.
And that's federally funded, like federal government?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's priceless because it's expensive to go out. And once you go out there, no one's going to go out to that same place.
Yeah.
And so it's like lunar material.
Wow.
Well, let's not get into that.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, so, but here's the kicker here.
Right.
So I get a phone call. Hey, you want to come down and interview for an assistant professorship at the University of South Carolina? I said, sure,
Maybe you're like, I never heard of it.
Pretty much, okay? It was a marine science program.
Okay.
It wasn't even an oceanography, right?
Yeah.
So I go down there, and as it turns out, I go, man, I'm going to be a big fish in a small pond here, and I like the people and everything. So
is that because it was heavy on marine science and not oceanography? What's the difference between the two?
Well, they were mostly marine biologists.
Okay, so marine
They
animals.
worked in estuaries, inshore.
Okay.
I'm a blue water oceanographer.
Yeah.
In other words,
so they're brackish water, brown water.
To do what I do, I got to go out on a ship.
Yeah.
Out to sea.
So they're studying like horseshoe crabs and
stingrays, fiddler
and
crabs and
yeah.
And even tiny stuff in the sediments.
Okay.
Myofauna and all this other kind of stuff. Great people, right? So I went down there. So now I'm an assistant professor. Let me tell you about my first faculty meeting. Mm-hmm. All right. My tenure is going to come through the Department of Geological Sciences, because the marine science program draws faculty from all over the place, right? So my first faculty meeting in the Department of Geological Sciences, I go into this little room, and all these full professors are all sitting around in like these lounge chairs, right? And I come in there, and I'm just kind of sitting down, like not knowing what the hell's going on.
No, they give you a folding chair to sit on. You don't
pretty
get a lounge
much,
chair.
Pretty much. And this one guy says, "Oh, Williams, welcome." And I said, "Oh yeah, thanks." I'm shaking heads all around, right? He says to me, "Do you realize that you were occupying the Williams revolving chair of oceanography?" And I said, my eyes get big, and I look at him. He said, "Yeah." He says, "We just fired a guy who was a marine scientist whose name was Williams, and we just fired him." And the whole room goes, erupts in laughter. And so I'm sitting there like, this is 10 minutes into a meeting, right?
Yeah. How old are you at this time? Like 24, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Yeah, about 26 maybe.
26, and they're all probably in
somewhere
their 50s.
In there. And so I'm going, so I just looked at them and I said, "This is a different Williams."
Mm.
That's all I said. And then I kicked their ass.
Well, you got that confidence because you're an NCAA Final Four soccer player.
No, but
right?
this goes back to the postdoc.
Oh, okay.
So
I was trying to bring up your soccer accolades, man.
The soccer accolades. I never made an All-American. But no, I wasn't
Ivy League champ.
I wasn't a Pulisic.
That's nothing to sneeze at, right? You got to go against Cornell and Harvard and Yale and.
Yeah, Harvard had all these foreign players. We loved to beat Harvard.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We had like 2 foreign players.
Who else? What else is considered Ivy League? Harvard, Yale, Cornell, Brown,
Dartmouth.
Dartmouth is Ivy League.
Columbia.
Oh, Columbia. Yeah. And they're Ivy League because of the age of them. Is that they're like the original universities?
Oh, there's a whole story as to
idea
how the Ivy League formed, and I can't remember it.
The elites just came up with their name to make them seem more fancy.
I don't think you said Yale.
I did say Yale.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Yale is like, come on. That's the dog that wags the tail.
Yeah, that's some of the biggest scumbags on earth that came out of that school. But that's a story for another show.
Yeah. But see,
So
sorry,
you went to the University of South Carolina to be. I don't want to get off on tangents. USC.
No, we can't say USC anymore. It's
Can we?
U of SC.
U of SC. Sorry, because
Yes.
University of Southern California, the other USC, won a
Yeah.
lawsuit against them.
It's just like UM St. Louis.
You can't say UMSL anymore?
You can now. I went back to it, but at one point it was UM St. Louis. They changed it, and all we kept saying is, "Where do you go to school?" St. Louis.
Oh, all right. So the University of South Carolina, the Fighting Gamecocks, and as an assistant professor.
Mm-hmm.
And was there anybody else in that department, though? Did you have a professor that you worked for? What does an assistant professor do?
Oh, no, you don't work for anybody. Except, the president, the board of trustees, and I guess the chairman of your department.
Okay.
But I never let them control me either.
Oh.
I got a grant, one of the first National Science Foundation grants in the department. And I had the associate dean of the college call me up and say, I see that you have put in an application to hire your wife as a technician. And I said, yes. I said, she's eminently qualified. She was Kennett's technician when I was back in Rhode Island. I mean, where am I going to find someone that knows anything about micropaleontology and microfossils or anything?
Yeah.
And so I said right to this guy, I said, are you questioning my integrity? Oh, no.
That's a great question to ask people, man.
No, but we have these nepotism laws. And I said, listen, I wrote her in the grant. Anyone who read that grant knows who she is because she did all the work for Kennett, who's, he's like a real guru in the field. I said, so, I mean, it's a no-brainer. How am I going to find someone here in South Carolina, in Columbia, who knows even what a microfossil is, or knows what a microscope is?
Right. Yeah, I think that's less than 50% graduation
So
rate from high school down there.
I've been wrestling with authority my whole life.
I hear you, man. Yeah, me too, but I've always been in authoritarian jobs, which is really strange. So what was the culture like on the University of South Carolina campus when you got there? So this is like, is it post-Vietnam at the time?
Mm-hmm.
Right after the end of Vietnam? What was it like there?
Just
because it's a pretty conservative area
south
of the country, right?
Oh yeah. Well, originally when I moved down there, one of the things that I would tell people I didn't like was the politics.
Yeah.
Because I was a little bit left leaning at that time, and yeah, it was very right.
Okay.
Very right. But gradually I saw the light.
Yeah. Saw the error of your ways.
And now, I've raised a family there, and I'm so thankful that I am in South Carolina. And I had opportunities to leave, like to go to SLU and other places around the country, Massachusetts, Oregon State. And because I found out one thing, that the day that you appear to be immobile, they can take advantage of you. And so I had my resume out along with my papers and everything, okay? But I was always like, so, when it came time for a raise, it was like, well, gosh, guess what?
Oregon State really wants.
Yeah, UC Davis wants me to come out there and be the chair. I go, oh, really? I got a nice raise.
Huh. That's how you do it.
And so, I didn't really answer your question what the campus was like, but it was just calm and peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah, slow.
Until the Clemson football game came up, and there was riots.
I used to joke because I never went to a football game, And I used to joke that I actually got tenure and promotion without ever having gone to a football game. I ended up doing. Took a bunch of Russians there.
Oh, okay.
That was.
What'd they think of it?
Are you kidding me? To go to a tailgating session
Yeah.
in which there is a, I don't know what to call it, but
Well, it's in the state fairgrounds.
but
Like the tailgate happens in the state fairgrounds. And it takes up the whole area.
but it's like
The food probably
no, it
made
was,
them pass out.
It was the
food.
beer.
The beer.
It was like there was a beer wagon there
Oh,
with
yeah,
like
yeah.
6 spigots, and they were just like, whoa, Doog. They used to call me Doog.
Doog. Yeah.
And that was the first football game I ever went to.
I had to do I was forced to carry the Army colors for a halftime show, USC versus Vanderbilt. And the Army colors weigh like 200 pounds because they carry a streamer for every single battle fought by the Army since 1775.
Right.
And it's so windy. Dude, I was suffering out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my first football game, doing the halftime show. I went to a couple others, but
Yeah.
I used to always go to the Missouri game when Missouri came to town.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that, Columbia is very patriotic because you got Fort Jackson there.
Yeah.
And at one point, we had more veterans in South Carolina than anywhere else. That
Well-
people would come and do their basic training in Fort Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
go off and do their military service, and say,
Retire.
I really liked Columbia,
Yeah.
and they would come back. I don't know if that's still true or not.
Yeah, it's cheap to live there for sure. And also, proximity to the beaches, mountains. One of my favorite parts about it is my favorite band's from Maryland, and they always traveled the I-95 corridor,
Mm-hmm.
and I could go see them like 3 times a year,
Oh, cool.
depending on how willing, how much I wanted to travel. So that was always cool. The pollen sucks in the spring, though. It's pretty terrible.
Oh my gosh! When you go out, I live on my back porch, and I go out there on a table, and the pollen is a 1/4 inch thick.
Yeah, it's horrible, man. All right, so you're doing your associate professor starting in 1977, and then in 1989 you get this crazy idea to drill core samples out of the largest freshwater lake on Earth. So as an oceanographer
And in the Soviet Union.
in the Soviet Union, so 1989, this is like, you're deep into Cold War by 89, right?
Well,
Well,
actually,
it's kind of dying.
Almost coming off to
no,
the end
that's-
of it, right?
that was when Gorbachev came in,
Oh, that's
and it was perestroika
Mm-hmm.
and glasnost. All right, glasnost was opening,
That's
and
right.
perestroika was restructuring. And so,
This was after the meeting between Gorbachev and Reagan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I came with the idea just before the wall came down. And I actually went to Berlin not long after the wall came down
Oh,
and saw the wall in pieces.
was it a big party at that time? Everybody's drunk and having a good time.
No, I wasn't there at that particular time. It was after that, but it was somber.
Oh, you think
there
like
was
people-
there was a Reichstag there, and
Oh.
I'm like, whoa.
Pretty dark.
Oh, it was.
Well, you could freely travel to the Soviet side at that time. So,
Oh yeah,
like you'd go over there. It probably was like going from day into night.
Yeah,
you know?
I didn't go through what was it, Checkpoint
Checkpoint
Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I was there for a scientific conference,
Okay.
but I did get a chance to see that. So it was at that point in time when the Soviet Union was, and that had pluses and minuses, because during the Soviet Union, the Soviet National Academy of Sciences, was just fat. Man, it had all kinds of money. Okay, but then when the Soviet Union crumbled,
Mm-hmm.
they lost all their funding. So I came in with this idea, and the Russians, one of the first things they wanted to know was, how did you come up with this idea to drill?
How did that first conversation take place? Like, who do you contact?
Oh gosh, that it's such.
Do you call the embassy and be like, "Hey, man, can I speak to somebody about this?"
I get challenged all the time that I should write a book about this because it wasn't straightforward. But at the time, we had a president in the University of South Carolina by the name of James Haldeman, and he fashioned himself as being an international president. He wanted to raise USC's a profile as being an international university. So I don't really know how he got wind of my idea with this project, okay? And he literally, okay, kind of detailed me to follow up on this. We had a plane that would fly to Washington, D.C. whenever you wanted to go, okay? We had a bird dog up there in Washington, D.C. I can't remember his name, and it's very bad on me.
Like a lobbyist?
Like a lobbyist, okay? Mm-hmm. And so here you had the U.S. Geological Survey renegotiating the basic science agreement with the Soviet Union.
Okay.
And over here you had the National Science Foundation, two different federal agencies, all right, writing a new basic sciences agreement with Russia. And so this guy, our lobbyist, finds out who these people are. And so the president flies me to Washington, D.C. This guy, I'll just call him Michael for the heck of it, all right, meets me, in a chauffeured car.
Did he work for a lettered agency?
And says, here's your agenda for today. All right, 11 o'clock, you're going to meet so-and-so here at the USGSC, And so I literally went around knocking on doors. I walked into people's office, and I said, so why are you here? I said, well, I've got this idea to drill Lake Baikal. And their jaw would drop. Like, what? Do you realize that we're in the middle of negotiating basic science agreements with the Soviet Union? I said, yeah, that's why I'm here. I said, because I want this considered as part of whatever your agenda is. And so it was a heady time. Doing this.
I think I asked you this the first time we talked about Lake Baikal, but were you ever approached by anybody in the government and like, hey man, you're going to Soviet Russia? If you could give us some, like, did they ask you to find out any, like, share information with certain agencies? Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Not before, but after.
Okay, so when you came home.
So after these discussions, okay, but then the real thing, and to answer your first question, so Haldeman, okay, funded, I flew, okay, there was going to be a International Geological Congress in Washington, D.C., and a lot of the Russians that I've been talking to were going to be there on a Russian ship called the Keldysh. They actually brought a ship in filled with Russian scientists. They didn't fly them in. They brought them in on
a boat into
Diesel
Maryland.
power.
I mean, this was an icebreaker.
Oh, an icebreaker?
This was huge.
Holy moly.
Diesel-powered.
Across the Atlantic?
I actually went on it, okay?
Dang.
But anyway, and so
That's a rough ride.
he
man.
flew this hand-picked group of Russians down to the University of South Carolina campus
Yeah.
to the faculty house. And
Did he drive him past Sorority Row on his way to the faculty house?
Sponsored. We didn't have Sorority Row at that point, but and we had these high-level meetings, with the Russians right there on the campus.
So when you're talking about a basic science agreement, does that mean like you're going to share information back and forth? Like, hey, we discovered this, we need to share it with the Russians, and
that's part of it, but it's mostly access.
Oh, okay.
Because
so
Soviet Union was closed.
Right. So if somebody in the U.S. is interested,
Lake Baikal was closed.
okay. Yeah, I get it.
And so the idea was to open.
You want to study Siberia. You want to
open that
study
up.
the
We should
tundras.
probably say where Lake Baikal is,
Yeah.
so
It's-
people know.
It's. I almost did when initially.
I probably
it's-
interrupted you. I'm sorry.
It's good question. It's just north of Mongolia.
Mongolia, central Mongolia.
Yeah, the Mongolian border is very, very close. I came really, really close to going on horseback down and across the border, but it didn't work out. Okay. But yeah, and it's 7 times deeper than the Grand Canyon. It stretches from Columbia, South Carolina to Washington, D.C. That's how long it is if we were to transpose it onto the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in an area of Siberia that's as isolated from the oceans, the influence of the oceans, as Antarctica. And that was part of my rationale, was to drill this sucker and to reconstruct the climate history of Central Asia in isolation of what was going on in the oceans.
So,
Yeah, and just so everybody understands size, it's larger than all 5 of our Great Lakes combined.
by volume, right?
They have a larger area.
It's the largest lake by volume.
Volume.
Yeah. It's number 7 by area.
And
It's ranked 7.
so it's 7 times deeper than the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
So how many feet? How many feet are we talking here?
Well, the water depth is about 1,800 feet.
Okay.
And I almost had a chance to dive down to the deepest part of the lake. All
And
right?
it's fresh water.
It's a
It's
freshwater
not salt
lake.
water, it's fresh water.
Yeah.
It's fresh water, right?
So it's the largest by volume. It's the deepest.
Mm-hmm.
It's fully oxygenated from the surface all the way to the floor, which is
it's so clear that you can see down 200 feet.
wow. And how many different unique biological specimens are there?
It's about 1,500.
1,500.
Yeah.
There's
And
fresh.
that's fish, birds. Like there's 58 different bird species that are unique to that area.
You know, I didn't know that. Huh.
There's freshwater seals,
Yeah, Nerpa.
and nobody knows how they got there or where they came from or anything, right?
Well, they must have come down the Lena River.
You think but okay.
The Lena River.
But I guess
goes-
seals are mammals. They could live in freshwater or saltwater, right?
Well,
Would there be a
the
difference?
Lena River goes, because I've gone on it, from Lake Baikal
Mhm.
all the way up to the Arctic. There's a huge delta up
So
there.
is it ice melt that makes the river?
And no, but it's entirely possible that over enough time, some seals have come down from the Arctic,
And they were like, "Hey, this
Have-
is warm here. This is great. We're gonna hang
have
out."
come down
like the Canadians
there
that go to Florida every year.
over time. It's all supposition.
Yeah.
But they had to start somewhere. They didn't
Right.
start from a bird, and they didn't start from a fish.
Right.
And the obvious source is, well, there's seals up here.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I'm sure, I would be surprised if somebody hasn't genetically done, a comparison of the Nerpa and the Arctic seals. I mean, that would be a no-brainer.
Yeah, that would be like the first thing you do.
If I could do it, I would do it myself in my garage. But
Probably the biggest barrier to doing that testing was the fact that it was Soviet Union enclosed for so long,
yeah, so that was
and they would protect that information,
Well,
right?
see-
Just because they don't share information with anybody.
See, that's the thing. There was this magic moment where I all of a sudden had access,
yeah.
but in the meantime, the Academy of Russian Academy of Sciences was gutted.
So they were kind of
And
like
so-
starving to share, like
Listen,
save our information.
when I came
take it
in with
you.
this idea, they were like, it
And-
was like manna from heaven. Like,
and it was fully funded
oh,
by the United States, right?
Oh, not at that point. At that point, I didn't have a dime.
Well,
I-
it was. I'm sure they were looking at it like,
President. No, they were.
Yeah.
President Haldeman was. But see, that's an interesting story too. So in order for me to get money,
he was
the
definitely
money,
CIA.
the
right?
money seriously, right?
Yeah.
I had to write proposals to the National Science Foundation. So that's why I was up there lobbying. But then I had to convince the community.
Mhm.
Okay. Then there's the U.S. Geological Survey. They're an independent governmental agency. They have their own budget. Okay. Well, in the meantime, all right, this was right at the time of the .com bubble over in Japan. And I went, So I went to a biology professor, Norimitsu Watabe-san, biologist.
At USC?
Yeah,
Okay.
he was in the marine science faculty.
All right.
I said, Watabe-san, I said, I've got this idea, a drill over Lake Baikal. And I said, do you think any Japanese scientists would be interested?
Oh, because they had all the money at that time, right?
And he said, because I knew this got connected. And he said, okay, I'll make. Japanese never promise anything. I learned this the hard way. And so shakes his head up and down, listens. Okay. Next morning, I get a phone call. It's from Watabe. You have a ticket, fly to Tokyo tomorrow. Okay. All right. And you're going to meet with Takeyoshi Kawai of such and such an institute. The Japanese want to be part of this. Phew, I'm on the plane.
Over to Tokyo.
No lie. And so now I'm in with Japanese. So I, through this process, I brought Japanese scientists in. At that point, they didn't give a darn as to why. Why they just wanted to be part of this.
They wanted
because
to be relevant.
there was also a really interesting historical perspective here during World War II.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Japanese were not kind to.
No, but there were Japanese prisoner of war.
Oh, okay.
In Siberia, all in and around Lake
that's
Baikal.
right, because the Russians got involved.
The Russians got
on that
involved
east
big
side.
time.
Manchuria.
Through Manchuria, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so there was a whole another thing that I didn't really understand at that point. But anyway, so now I have the Japanese money coming in.
Holy moly, man! You're
Hey,
playing in some real.
I don't have a dime.
A deep
all I have is whatever the University of South Carolina for Haldeman will give me, right?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, but then there's the USGS. And the USGS is very interested.
That's big money.
And so, they had instant money,
Yeah.
all right? Because they it's their own budget, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm writing proposals to the National Science Foundation, begging for money. And anyway, so this whole thing starts moving along. Great. So now we got Japanese, we got Americans and Russians in there. And the head of the USGS effort goes to the Russian chief scientist for the Baikal Drilling Project and says, Mikhail Ivanovich Kuzmin, mój очень хороший друг, my very good friend, Misha, Paul Hearn goes to Misha and says, USGS has money, and we want to bring this money in to help the Baikal Drilling Project, but we want Steve Coleman from Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution to be the American chief scientist. And Kuzmin looks at him and he says, no, Doug is the American chief scientist. So
it was the football game. That's what did it for you.
This was before the
I'm just kidding.
Before the football game.
Yeah.
But
Coleman
anyway,
was CIA.
Absolutely.
And they knew that, so no way could take him.
I'm sure. KGB was like, not that guy.
But after all, so I've been to Russia 17 times in this whole process, and I did a lot of other things too, besides the Baikal Drilling Project. But initially, very soon, I'd get back to campus. I'd be sitting in my office and the phone would ring. I'd pick it up and say, hi, this is so-and-so from the FBI. Can we meet somewhere? I understand you've been going to Russia. And can we meet somewhere to discuss things? Okay?
Right.
And never met with them. And then I got 2 calls from the FBI and I got 1 call from the CIA. And we set up a meeting on campus. The guy never showed.
Huh.
I basically told him I blew him off.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, I guess they probably knew everything they needed to know by then anyway.
Not
right?
really.
I mean, about Russia, like in general.
Not really,
Really?
because no.
In 1990, 89? You don't think the CIA?
No,
knew?
especially 89, because man, that was when everything crumbled.
Yeah.
And then there was the pooch.
I guess they were the balkanization. And all
where
that.
they tried to take over, and the Putin et al. Tried to, depose Yeltsin and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
No, there was a lot of
There was
uncertainty.
some weird stuff. That's when the civil wars started kicking off. Ethnic cleansing type stuff.
So it was fun time.
We talked previously the process to set up the drill. You said you guys took a barge out to the lake, right? In what, late summer, fall time, and then just anchored it and let it freeze into place.
Oh, that sounds so simple.
Yeah, that's an oversimplification of the process.
Well, see,
but I mean, you're drilling. You have to go through 1,800 feet of water, and then plus however far down you want to drill.
But, that's a piece of cake. Okay.
The drilling.
Because the thing is that, I mean, you can go down and drill as deep as you want through the mud, but
You're not getting the good stuff.
you're not getting. You need a core.
Yeah.
Well, we do this out in the oceans. We have the deep sea drilling project.
Okay.
Okay, and we have the technology of the time to be able to take a drilling ship out there, and without anchoring it, dynamically positioning it with computers.
Yeah.
So that you can stay on one site, even when a storm comes in and all this other kind of stuff. And then put these drill bits down, yes, and then to be able to recover these long, continuous cores.
Yeah, but how do you get a giant ship like that
And
into the middle of Siberia
and how
near
do you
the
do
Mongolian border?
And how do you do that when it's in Russia
Right.
and the U.S.? This was top secret technology.
Yeah, because actually, the Glomar company? You ever heard of the Glomar company?
What a story. Yes, I do. Very well.
You know what a Glomar response is?
Not at all.
It's I can neither confirm nor deny. That's a Glomar response, right? And that came from the Glomar Ocean Recovery Company that was chartered to recover something off the ocean floor. What that something was a sunken Russian nuclear submarine. And the CIA funded and founded a company called the Glomar Global Marine Recovery Company.
Howard Hughes.
Yep, Howard Hughes was involved, and they took one of these ships that Doug is describing and went and recovered a Russian nuclear sub off the. And when they
actually, only parts of it.
Parts, well, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But then when they were asked, "Are you part of the United States federal government and funded by the CIA and blah blah blah?" And the response was, "I can neither confirm." And they asked him, "Did you recover parts of the Russian sub?" I can neither confirm nor deny the existence of a Russian submarine on the ocean floor and our involvement with any recovery. Blah blah blah. So that's where the Glomar response comes from.
And see, that gave the birth for the Glomar Challenger, which was an offshoot of that effort to then start drilling deep sea sediment cores. All right, that started the deep sea drilling project. So meanwhile, let me tell you something. If a Russian scientist...
Doug, are you in the CIA? You can neither confirm nor deny that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Do you see my raised middle finger? No, I'm just kidding.
That's exactly what somebody would say if they worked for the CIA.
Of course. Of course, I will neither confirm nor deny.
Okay, so the process of the barge, let's get back. How did you set up your drilling rig?
I didn't.
Well, I know you did, but how did it get set up?
No, but this goes back to what you were just talking about.
Oh, okay.
So if a Russian scientist was to come out on a deep sea drilling project, they literally would have an armed Marine guards outside of the dynamic positioning system room.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So none of that verboten, none of that technology was allowed. So in the meantime, how are you gonna bridge this gap, this national security gap?
They're not going to bring
right?
that technology into.
So I did my homework, and as it turns out, the Russians had the world's deepest continental drilling program. It's called the Kola Peninsula, in which they had drilled down through rock, okay, because you can drill, all right, down a little over 13.8 kilometers, something like that.
Is that the one where they thought they heard screams coming out of it? They went so deep.
I'm not sure about that.
There was something like they were like.
But as it turns out,
so deep they thought they hit hell.
I flew to Moscow, And from Moscow, I was met by, all right, Bilal Nazarlayevich Kakhayev, who the Russians say they don't want to bother pronouncing this. They just call him Boris. Okay? He's the Director General of Obedini Nedra, which means earth. Okay? And they're the ones that drilled the Kola hole. And so he comes down, literally, he picks me up with his wife, and
Wow.
they drive me to Yaroslavl, where he lives, and we negotiate. All right, okay, Bilal, can you do this? In other words, can you develop the technology that the quote international community is using in soft sediment in the deep ocean to do it in Lake Baikal? He can drill through crust, okay? And of course, his response is duh.
Yeah.
Of course, with enough scratch, anything is possible.
Yeah, the Kola super deep borehole.
Oh,
Deepest hole ever dug.
Yeah.
40,230 feet.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So this group of engineers from Nedra, okay, developed a coring device for Lake Baikal. So the story to that is just absolutely amazing. So yeah, so then from this technology, we put it on a barge. They put it on a barge because we can't dynamically position because that technology, computer technology, is not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
And so what do? They do. We did. Freeze it. Freezes for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I went out to the drill site and spent a week out there.
Like you could drive a truck out to it at that point?
Oh
right?
yeah.
How thick does the ice get?
No, see, in the wintertime, Lake Baikal becomes like there are roads. They call them ice roads.
Okay.
And they drive back and forth.
Drive big semi trucks across them and all that.
Oh, I didn't see semis, but Russians have these all kinds of big trucks, but not a Russian semi. Yes.
Yeah.
And they have these ice roads marked with these flags, and it's quite amazing.
Yeah.
Because the ice freezes to about 6 or 8 feet
6
thick.
or 8 feet. Okay.
So anyway, so we put the drill rig out there on the barge, and then they had 1 or 2 shore bases where they would run supplies out
Mm-hmm.
to there because they could drive through the winter roads to there, and then the Russians lived out there for, well over 3 months.
Wow.
In order to do that.
Well, were you out there at that time?
Yeah, I got a chance to go out once, and on the drill rig, and then one day I said, it was a beautiful day. I've got some absolutely fantastic photos. Beautiful day, absolutely clear. I walked about a half a mile away from the drill rig, just by myself, where I couldn't hear anything that was going on there. I was just out there in the middle of the lake and looking through the ice. All I could see was dark blue through the ice. But, of course, it was all fractured. And then I just stood there and just listened. The ice is alive.
Yeah, could you hear it? Like the ice itself?
Like
freezing
no, it's continually moving
right,
and adjusting. And so there would be these sharp sounds of you're standing there, you're not going to fall through, okay? But my Russian friends were just furious with me that I went walking out there. At least I didn't have to worry about a polar bear, or a Nerpa coming up and biting me. I don't know what the Nerpa do during the winter. Oh. They must. I'm sure there are Russian biologists that have studied this. I'm just ignorant. I'm just ignorant of it. But they must have.
They don't get polar bears there. Well, I guess that's pretty far south. Like if you're talking about the border of Mongolia, there are polar bears there?
No, I don't think so.
No, there are no polar bears there.
They might be moving down now.
Oh, this is true. This is true.
Well, they'll listen to the podcast and then they'll decide, hey, you know what? Let's go down where the seals are.
Yeah, they're in NERPA down there.
There's dumbasses that walk a half mile away from their ship by themselves. We can go get them.
We just gave away the secret.
Oh, it was.
We had a listener in Russia up to a week ago, but then it fell off.
Huh.
Because we mentioned your late Senator, Lindsey Graham. Your late great Senator, Lindsey Graham. Another rabbit trail we're not going to go down.
Yeah.
So did you ever see, apparently there's ice rings on Lake Baikal that are like 3 to 4 miles wide. These rings that form on the ice. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, well, what happens is the ice heaves because it's also windy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so, yeah, these, I mean, like, the ice cracks and just heaves up like 6, 7, 10, 12 feet in the air.
Okay.
It's just all fractured, especially along the shoreline.
Oh.
And so we were out in the center, and the ice heaves and everything were along the shore.
Did you ever see any of the Zen rocks, where the rocks were on the ice and then the ice kind of melts underneath them and they're on a pedestal? That's something that people would freak out about. But
no, I haven't seen Zen rocks.
What did you discover doing this core sampling thing, this drilling?
Okay.
What did you discover?
I published an article in Science in 1996. So I got the idea in '89, and this was the for me in my career was my seminal publication. It's prestigious to publish in Science anyway. I've done it.
That's a magazine, right?
Yeah.
7 or 8 times.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, but it was very gratifying to do this. And so what we did was we took the cores that we got on Lake Baikal, and what we looked at was now we don't have calcareous organisms preserved like we do out in the oceans. We have the siliceous diatoms. And so
what are those?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Well,
it sounds salacious.
They're very salacious. I actually have a species of one that's named after me. But anyway, so we compared the record of climatic changes from glacial to interglacial with that in the ocean. And the comparison is very, very close. I mean, nothing to impact the quality of life in America or anything like that. That's one of the problems with research. You know, it's very esoteric, okay?
Yeah, a lot of religious-like fervor behind it, right?
Well, we didn't know. What we wanted to know was, how did the climate of Central Asia respond?
Sure.
In relation to what we think is the global signature.
Is this the Younger Dryas era?
As recorded in, we went back past that.
Okay.
But as recorded in the ocean sediments. So we take the ocean sediments and we think that's showing us what global climate was doing.
Yeah.
So we wanted to go into Central Asia and say, okay, that's one side of the picture. What's happening in Central Asia, in this continent? Isolated away from that.
So you're widening your data set so you could prove or
and
disprove,
so,
right?
As it turns out, what there was a very close comparison.
Okay.
But then this is where the story gets interesting. I don't know whether it was me or somebody, I can't remember, but within my lab, we got the idea to analyze the carbon isotopic composition of the organic matter in Lake Baikal. You say, well, why the heck would you want to do that? Well, surrounding Lake Baikal is this thing called permafrost. And permafrost locks methane. Mm-hmm. Methane is 4 times, maybe 10.
Methane comes from the decomposition of this
organic matter
right.
locked into permafrost.
Okay.
And it's very, very isotopically negative. Okay, so very little carbon-13. Okay. Most carbon is carbon-12. We're made out of carbon-12. We got a little bit of carbon-13 in us. But anyway, so we analyzed the carbon isotopic composition and these same sediments, and we got these wild, really negative swings, not swings, spikes, like which almost looked like the permafrost was freezing and melting and freezing and melting, like there were these episodes.
So you're talking about like a catastrophic type of freeze?
Yeah,
Not a gradual cooling.
catastrophic warmings.
Warming and freeze, right, but then going back to freezing.
Yes. Okay, so completely.
Meteor strikes, possibly?
No, not meteor strikes, but anyway, then I kind of retired.
You're like, that's enough of this crap. I'm out.
No. This is a complete cop out, and I feel guilty about this. But I had like 3 Russian PhDs with me, and 2 of them have carried this work forward. You know, and I haven't followed it. But that was so when I first saw this record, I said permafrost. We got a record of permafrost melting. And I still believe that to this day.
So what would cause the permafrost to all of a sudden melt?
That's a good question.
Besides a rapid heating of the environment.
That's a good question.
Comets? A comet? Like,
No.
there's records of, right?
Yeah.
Some pretty cataclysmic strikes.
So as you're looking at the rapid heatings, what time frame are you talking?
Sorry, what?
Rapid heating that you were seeing these spikes.
Rapid geologically, like, in 1,000, 5,000 years.
Okay.
But
Right.
but over 600,000 years. So in other words, there'd be this general cyclicity, okay, and then superimposed on that were just these spikes that we didn't see in the oceans. That's for sure.
So if you had to guess, like you were just going to throw out like, this is what I think it is.
Yeah.
What would it be besides a thermonuclear strike? I mean, what would cause that
Well,
kind
that's
of
fast.
a rapid
He's saying
heating?
1,000 years.
So over 1,000 years, something heated up,
I mean, to me,
Yeah.
that seems like just typical climate change.
wobbling of the earth.
Everybody talks about global warming and all that good stuff. And see, I don't think it's global warming. I think it's just climate change.
Well, yeah,
Our Earth
cools and heats.
and heals itself based on whatever it is happening.
Absolutely.
Well, then you have, like we
No,
talked about
you're
earlier,
absolutely
with the,
right.
Magna magician. What would you call them?
Well, see,
The magnet
Yeah.
magicians.
yeah, no, the
Or what-
paleomagician.
Paleomagicians with the flopping of the poles. I mean, that might have something to do with it. The Earth
But
does tilt on its axis,
actually,
right?
we have a pretty good record based on lava flows of the fluctuations in the magnetic
Mhm.
Yep.
field.
Yeah, we sure do.
Yeah. Because
And the magnetic field wobbles.
yeah, our time in the military, we know from the
Yeah.
GM angle. When you use a compass, you have to adjust for the GM angle, and it changes year to year on the amount of degrees that you add or subtract.
Yeah.
And it's really wild. Like when I was in Washington State, I think it was like 15 degrees. You're off by 15 degrees that far north.
Yeah.
But when I was in South Carolina, I think it was like 5, it's not that far, much further south. It's weird.
I don't know that the spikes would be unnatural other than,
You're talking about the temperature spikes.
yes,
Okay.
the heating and cooling of the permafrost that you were describing. I don't think that's completely unnatural. And I think I think it describes a little bit about what you were saying. It's Central Asia. It's cut off from the oceans and everything else. So the
Yeah.
climate there is going to be different from, you can't make an assumption it's going to be the same.
See, this is what was one of the driving rationales behind what I was after. The oceans are huge,
Yeah.
and they average everything out.
Right.
Whereas on the continent, things are more extreme. You get colder cold, and you get warmer warm.
And
And we get droughts, and we get,
Oh, yeah.
episodes.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we were picking up in the carbon isotope record of Lake Baikal with those it was completely natural. It was all part of the climate system.
Sure.
Okay.
And here you are in the largest continental landmass, as isolated from the oceans as you possibly can, and you see the general homogenization of the signal in the oceans,
Right.
but with the continental signal superimposed upon it.
Yeah, because, you got the hot springs that are there already in that area. And if you think about Antarctica, people think about Antarctica because we don't learn about it, but you look at a globe and you go, oh, it's a giant ice thing. It's an ice shelf. No, it's actually land with ice on top of it.
Right.
And they've found evidence of palm trees.
Yeah, they have green. There's green space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now those
Underneath
those palm
Antarctica.
trees are quite old, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I get it, but still, they were there.
Yeah.
So why
Stuff
couldn't it be
changes.
somewhere else? And even now, today, like these years today, the Arctic ice melts every year, and you can actually, without using an icebreaker, you can actually sail across the between England over to
Over the North Pole.
through the North Pole
Talking about the Northwest Passage.
to Asia.
Oh.
So it's all melted. There's like a couple months where you can go all the way across and not have to circumvent the globe to get from
Right.
London
Right.
to Japan or Tokyo. You can go straight across.
This is why
top.
the United States wants
And
a
see,
military
but-
base in
but-
Greenland.
But
Right.
but that very observation
Well, we have
is
military
one of the
bases.
things that climate extremists use to show how the
Well, of course.
the
Well,
system is out of whack.
It's
let's-
short-lived.
Doug, let's
It's a-
talk about this.
I mean, they
as
always
a-
want to show a picture of a polar bear sitting on
Yeah.
a piece of ice, and look, it all melted.
Oh, no.
He's stranded. No, he
Um,
swims,
yeah,
and
he's
he,
just taking a break.
climbed up on it.
The greatest swimmers,
Come on,
probably.
people.
Greatest mammal swimmer, probably.
He's just
Doug,
hiding from the whale.
Yeah. Can we talk about, as a Christian, in the scientific world, do you find that those two things are diametrically opposed? And did you ever struggle with that?
I personally never struggled with it, but in my years of teaching at the university,
Yeah.
regularly I would have a student come up and say, "Dr. Doug, could we meet sometime to talk about science and religion?"
Huh.
And I'll never forget a young girl. I said, "Sure, let's go to the cafeteria and have a coffee."
Yeah. In
So
public with people witnessing.
Yeah, so we'd be in the cafeteria, and she said, when I want to be a marine scientist so bad, and when I go home on the weekends, when I go to church, I have people telling me that I can't be a Christian and be a scientist. And I said, well, you're looking at one.
Yeah.
I said, they're not. It's not exclusive. God created us as curious creatures, and to go out and to explore the earth. In fact, it's interesting. It's not a digression, I don't think, but in driving here to meet with you and Kevin with this podcast, I started thinking about how, one of my favorite photographs when I was 3 years old. I was in this little string bathing suit. I had a cane pole and I was holding a stringer of fish. I'm grinning into the thing. At a very early age, I fell in love with water.
Mm-hmm.
I fell in love with the ocean. I was telling you, I started scuba diving when I was 12. I'm in love with our planet, the water planet. And in some ways, I think God has put me on this earth to communicate just how wonderful His creation is. And I've had an opportunity to work with and interact with thousands and thousands of students, about just how glorious this world is that God has created for us.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to continue that today.
Well, that's a great explanation, because even Isaac Newton said, I'm not here to challenge religion. My science explains creation.
Yeah.
That was it, because the church would constantly go after him.
Oh yeah, he was locked up in a.
The more I learn about this planet that God has created, the more in awe
That's what I was gonna say. Like the more
Right.
I open my mind and study, the more I realize I don't know anything, and God is all powerful. And he made us curious for a reason, and I think it's to draw us to Him. You know,
We were made in His image.
yeah, yeah. I think, yeah,
That's why I don't really believe that there's just one Earth, or even one universe.
yeah.
God's infinite.
Well, of course,
Time means nothing to Him.
sure.
What does that mean? You
And-
believe in aliens?
And
Do you
no,
think we'll
no,
make contact with aliens?
No, I don't. No, I won't go there.
Okay,
but,
good.
But I think no.
The Earth is
but-
flat, and there's many stacked up
No,
on
but
top of each other.
I think God is an experimenter, and He wants to know what if.
I don't know. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, because if God is infinite, He's perfect. He's not going to experiment. He knows what He's doing
He
before He
knows.
does it.
Thanks. I appreciate that perspective.
Yeah.
In other words, we're
I think we're it.
we're witnessing
We're made in His image, but we're not Him. We're not God.
absolutely, but we're witnessing His work of perfection.
Correct.
Yeah.
The difference was obviously Adam and Eve in the fall. So we're in a fallen world.
Yeah.
So that's why we have thorns on branches and lions eat other animals because that didn't exist
They eat
prior
people.
to
Yeah, we get eaten by lions.
the downfall.
So we were just on a downward progression
Correct.
to
Towards perfection.
right. Absolutely.
We're progressing opposite
I like
to
that.
get to perfection.
Yeah.
We're like the remnant.
Oh, yeah.
We're-
Whew.
You know,
So-
and the thing is, like the smarter we think we're becoming, the more that we feel like, oh, we're learning more, we know more. It just uncovers how much we don't know.
Exactly.
And then there's things out there we're like, whoa, wait a second. Like Lake Baikal, 80% of the biological life in Lake Baikal doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. And you're like, wait, hold on a second. How is this possible?
See, the thing is that doesn't bother me. That excites me.
well,
That's
That-
the point.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, that inspires me
Yeah.
to like this is why I've been driving everywhere and just sponging, absorbing, and looking and just going, oh wow, I didn't know that. Oh, look at that! Holy mackerel!
yeah. Well, let's transition to that. So now you were a tenured professor at the University of South Carolina, and you transitioned into teaching the youth, right? Doing Dr. Doug.
You should have seen the look on some of my fellow faculty members' faces when these were some of these people who didn't want to teach undergraduates. That was
Below them, like beneath them, I should say.
No, everything was about publishing, having graduate students.
Oh,
And who wants
very
to
ego-driven, right?
Oh, and so,
Yeah.
and I told him that, yeah, I'm going to retire early. I retired early because I want to go into elementary schools and teach science, And they looked at me like, "You're gonna what?" And it wasn't that I was out of ideas. Oh man, no way was I out of research ideas. And I regret having left some of them behind because every once in a while I see something, I go, oh yeah, I remember having that idea. But anyway, but no, this going into a classroom with children, and they're born creative.
Oh yeah.
They're born with the question of why and wanting wonder, and then the thought of having others drill that out of them and discourage them. And so I go in and I work with these kids with respect. And in fact, this one teacher that I've worked with a really lot, I went over to fourth grade. I went over there one day because these are fourth graders. I've been teaching them since second grade, 4 times a year with 4 different hands-on science programs, right? And I'll go over and I'll say, Jamie, I said, I don't know if you notice it, but I don't treat your students like fourth graders. I treat them like they're undergraduates in my lab.
Yeah.
But I treat them with respect. So I was pushing, always raising the bar, but not too far. You don't want to be discouraging,
Can I ask about the mechanics of that? So when a kid asks you a question, why does this happen? Do you turn it back around on them? Like, why do you think it happens? What, like, or how does that work?
No, not directly.
Okay. Well,
Because
of course.
that would put them off.
Sure.
But if I know, I answer it. Okay. But I love getting a question that I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
And I'll say, whatever you do, you don't bullshit. I say, well, I really don't know. That's a great question. And then I'll say, now, meanwhile, everything goes right down to me and that young person. Everything else, teacher, everything else just goes into. And I said, but what do we know about that question?
Yeah.
And so the student and I will work together to come up with what we do know about that. And this might take actually 2 or 3 minutes. That's a lot of class time.
So is that like the scientific method? Like, here's what we know, here's what we don't know, here's the questions to ask, here's what we test.
I've never seen it described like that. You see it in textbooks, and it's like, well, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's so organic, and then we get to the point we say, I don't know.
So I'm trying to relate this to what I would understand.
So we get to the point where I said, well, what do you think? Do you think this is the answer?
Yeah.
And we both look. Well, we don't really know, do we? So what do we do now?
Let's do it. Let's test it. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. But look, we got to talk to somebody who knows more than us. We've got to go. Well, we used to go to libraries, but now now we go to the internet.
You tell them,
like
hey,
that.
Strap a scuba tank on and go diving in 40, 50 foot deep water.
Let's go do it. But it's the most exhilarating 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah. You could probably see the gears turning in their brains. Like,
oh, absolutely. And that the other students are watching.
Yeah.
And they're learning. And even what I really like is teachers who are connected are going, like, oh,
they're learning
so
how to teach.
This is how learning occurs.
It's almost like doing the 4th grade version of the root cause analysis.
Yeah.
Ooh, hadn't heard that.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's
root
my
cause analysis.
That's my jam.
You're asking yourself 5 questions. You have an event that happened. Why did this event happen? And then you come up with, for instance, I don't know, you fell off a ladder. Why did you fall off a ladder? I lost my balance. Why did you lose your balance? I leaned way out to the right. Why did you lean way out to the right? Because the ladder might not have been positioned where it was supposed to be, and I don't want to move it to the right. Well, why didn't you move it to the right? Because I didn't want to get down off the ladder. Why did you want to get down off the ladder? Because I had nobody else to help me, and it was so you just keep going.
It is
I've had that very experience.
I'll tell you right now.
So the root cause analysis.
Yes,
I've learned something.
So you're working yourself all the way down to the what is that trigger?
Yeah, you're right. It is a version of that.
Okay.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. Actually, that would make learning fun.
Why shouldn't it be fun?
Well,
it should be. See, when I go into a classroom, okay, I bring in energy.
What is it, Bill Nye the Science Guy?
And
I hate
that's
that
what
guy.
kind of reminds me.
He's a
of.
complete fraud.
Yeah.
He's not even a scientist.
People will say, "Yeah, you're like Bill Nye," Anyway, but learning should be exhilarating.
Who was the other guy?
Sure.
Who was the guy that had the white hair and he was bald? He's
Well, how do you get white hair and bald?
Well,
genetics and age,
genetics and trauma.
Hey, look, you're looking at one.
Yeah, me. But there was a scientist on TV. I swear I can't. But he wore a sweater like Mr. Rogers. And man,
I don't know. We had a guest on a few weeks ago, Jason Hughes.
Yeah, Jason Hughes. I was going to bring him up.
Who's a retired science teacher.
Yeah, you guys would love each other.
And he still, to this day, I mean, that was his thing. Is all his students, it was always lab work and fun lab work. And even now, after he's retired, he still teaches these kinds of classes. that he posts on Facebook on a regular
Nice.
basis that you can log into. And all his stuff is free. You can go get it. So you can use it as a tool to teach your own class.
You know, I have been asked for a long time, because I started this work in schools, Catch the Science Bug with Dr. Doug in 2007.
Nice.
And I've been asked many times, and I haven't gone media. It's me. It's so personal.
In person.
It is, what you see is what you get. It's me. It's mano y mano, and I really should have gone, digital with videos and YouTube and all this. And I've had people say, "Oh, you should do this," and everything. But I don't know. At one point, I was an empire builder at the university. Huge lab students, technicians, all this other kind of stuff. And so I was into this. I was doing 180 days a year in schools all over the state. Teacher wanted me, poof, I was there. Even I had to leave at 3:30 in the morning, and I get back at 6:30 at night. And I went wherever the need was. And so I couldn't meet the need because the word got out. And then people said, "Oh, you should hire some." I know a couple of really super science teachers, and they were vouched and verified. They're retired. And so I actually started. I had two lovely ladies. We had a meeting, lunch. I took them to lunch and everything, and then they came and watched one of my sessions and everything. And it was just like we were right on the cusp of coming to an agreement. And I said, no, this is personal. This is me. I said, I called him. I said, really nice meeting you and everything. I said, but I'm just not going to go in that direction. I didn't want to have satellite people out there representing me, and then getting a phone call. "Oh, the projectors aren't working. Oh, what do I do with this? And what do I do with that?" When it happens to me,
1099s and taxes and all that crap.
No, not even. I hadn't even gotten to that point. It was just like, no, that's not why I started this. God put me on this earth to do this.
What?
Yeah, well, and now you're traveling all over the place.
Well,
right? You said you've done 7,000 miles in how long now?
Just since July 9th.
Wow.
I've done 35,000 miles in the last 2 years on 5 different trips through to just absorb God's creation.
In the continental United States, right?
And to meet people. I've met so many people. Just like, I didn't realize I was on a journey when I met you in Savannah.
That's right.
And
I think God put us in each other's path,
and we
for
had
sure.
we had an impact on each other.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know in my heart that I had someone tell me the other day that in a worship group that I'm with, he didn't tell me, he told everybody, which was a realization. We're spiritual beings, living a human existence. And it changed me a little bit. I realized I'm a spiritual being. So when I'm traveling, now when I'm by myself, it's just me, myself, and I as a sponge, just absorbing and trying to appreciate and understand this magnificence that God has created around us. But then, at the end of the day, I like to go to a craft brewery, and I'll sit there and hopefully strike up a conversation with the server or with someone else that's in there, and that's when the spiritual being in myself, that's an opportunity to project God's magnificence and the Holy Spirit. And I just feel that way. And so I'll get home to South Carolina. I'll be home 2 or 3 months. I get an itch. And it's not just west now. I've been going north and east. I went down into the Gulf Coast. I call it a Father's Day loop. And I went down, touched base with Chloe, an 89-year-old woman who befriended my father before he died in Alabama. And I go down and I call Chloe every 3 or 4 months. And I go down to see Chloe every year. I've met her children. And so I went down to see Chloe, okay? And then I went down to Apalachicola, some wonderful oysters, and went out. And, and then did a big loop up along the Georgia Golding Isles. And then back to Columbia. And I got back and I went, boy, that was wonderful. It was like 8, 9 days. And
are you flying or driving?
Driving.
Okay, nice.
I went west again.
That's the only way, man.
It is.
You miss so much of America by flying places.
You do. And to me, the trip is all about the drive.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's my favorite part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like you said,
it's
Doug,
not the destination necessarily.
you're a sponge, and you would see, how many times did you text me and be like, I saw this, I'm turning off the highway, I'm heading up to this thing I
call them organic detours.
Yeah.
Where I got to get to St. Louis, but wait a minute.
What is this over here?
What is this over here?
Are you a diary or journal keeper?
I should be.
You just keep it all in your mind? With pictures?
As difficult as that is, yeah. And I have people say I should keep a diary, should write books, do this.
You should start a podcast.
But then it takes away the fun.
But it's just, it's yours. It's yours, right?
Hey, remember I was telling you before, it's personal.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, I
you display your personality a little bit. I mean, you walk in here and you've got a giant silver turquoise ring on all 10 fingers, and silver turquoise bracelets, and you got your brewery T-shirt on from, was that New Mexico?
Oh yeah.
Are those rattlesnake skin boots? What are those?
American alligator.
American alligator. There you go.
Custom made it in Tucson.
God bless America. In Tucson. How many alligators are in Tucson?
Jocelyn's boots. I was at a park somewhere in Arizona, and those
are great boots, man.
Yeah, they are great boots. Oh. Okay, and I'm sitting here where I was tailgating with this woman that I was traveling with, and this Mexican American guy comes walking down goes to get into his huge black Ford F-150, right? And I look at his boots and I'm like, holy moly. And so across the parking lot, I said to him, man, those are nice boots. And he looks at me and he comes walking across. He says, yeah, I just got them. He said, yeah, Jocelyn's boots in Tucson. And he did the American alligator tops.
Oh,
okay. I couldn't afford that.
With the alligator head on top, like you could see.
No, but just using the alligator skin
all the way up.
Oh yeah, I mean,
okay.
I actually saw the alligator skin. It was about this.
So you have the actual foot, like your foot is this alligator skin, but up past your ankle is leather.
Up this is calf or something like that.
Cow.
But that's all I could afford.
Oh, so you didn't get the teeth.
But anyway, so
in there.
he and I, we had this wonderful talk. See, I've been waiting 2 months for these. I just picked them up a little while ago.
2 months.
And you know what? Oh yeah, and I mean they're custom made. Okay.
Oh.
And so we drove from this park. It was a fantastic park. We drove to Jocelyn's Boots in Tucson. And I got my feet measured and everything, and
wow.
I told him that I had met this guy, and they said, "Oh yeah, we know." They had his name, and
man, that's crazy.
And
alligator boots in Arizona. Doug, you're a wild man.
It's not so much your experiences that has impressed me. I mean, those are impressive, but what's impressed me most is your joy for life and the experiences you feel, and you inspire me to just look every single day and go, man, I can't wait till I retire so that way I can get out there and do the same things.
I feel the same way. I'm like so fired up to like travel and meet people with my children, and because I have very young children and I'm approaching an age where I'm like,
or even on the short term side,
for short term, yeah. Like
why am I sitting on my ass all weekend long? Why don't I just go check out different things?
Just go
locally?
drive. Yeah, for real.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. I am consumed with a joy for life, and like I am always checking my calendar, and I see this 3 or 4, heaven forbid, 5 or 6, 7 or 8 period of days that I really have nothing to do. Maybe go drink some beer with my friends, which is okay, but really nothing to do. And so I'm going, where can I go? What should I do? What can I learn? I've really gotten into American history, indigenous cultures, prehistory, indigenous cultures, and so so I'll just say I'm going to go and explore.
Oh man, you know what just popped in my head?
I'm so blessed. I don't take this for granted.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Sure.
yeah. No, I mean, this is God given. God has given me this window and this time, and I don't know how broad that window is or how narrow that window is. It's not my business. It's in God's hands, and I'm just going for it.
Yeah, and all of this time that you're doing all that on the personal side that you mentioned, you're also continuing to serve others by inspiring them in their learning when you're talking with or teaching young students.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
for saying
remarkable.
that.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Thanks.
Doug, do we want to talk about like what caused this? Like what led you to be the way you are today?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good point, because you're talking about empire building when you were in academia, but you're not empire building anymore. You're building a different kind of empire.
I was when I was a professor at the university, I was probably unbearable.
Do you feel like that was ego driven?
Oh my gosh, I was a bull in a china shop.
Okay.
I mean, literally,
because you had a lot to prove, because you're an oceanographer showing up in marine biology.
I had a hunger. I had this incredible hunger to produce new things, and that's why part of the reason why I attracted so many students, into my lab, and literally there was one point where I had 2 offices.
2 offices?
Across. I had a lab, and I had an office in the Honors College.
Sure.
And I would run.
Why?
I would run.
You're the man.
Time.
Why would you run?
No, time.
Yeah, but you're the dude. You're the
no.
You're him.
Yeah, no, but I had this hunger, phew.
But what is that? Why?
I don't know.
Was it ego? Do you think?
No, it wasn't. I don't.
Grandiosity, like you had a.
No,
I am the guy who's gonna do it. I'm gonna break barriers.
You see these rings on my hands?
Yeah, of course. Can't miss them.
Do you think I give a shit as to what?
No, definitely not.
Anybody thinks
you definitely do
about
not.
me with these rings?
Definitely do
and
not.
So
man.
it wasn't ego.
Yeah.
It was a hunger.
Okay.
That I wanted, So now I've transferred some of that hunger into. Now I want to learn. Yeah. I've always said that the day I stop learning is the day that there'll be lilies sprouting up
Man,
from the soil.
Mick, we've talked about this a bunch, in maybe direct and indirect ways, Kevin, about like, okay,
Remember,
like
you have a 6-hour drive tomorrow.
hold on, for our number one listener.
Oh yeah, just a teeny tiny. Good. Thank you.
So we've talked about this a lot, like the hunger
Thank you
for.
for
I have to refill. The hunger for learning.
I love that sound in the microscope.
Oh, it's great.
I mean, in the
the
microphone.
junior ranking person
Nostrovia.
always
Cheers,
has to keep everybody.
Nazdarovia.
We've talked about the hunger for learning, like that. The curiosity is what men has like the exploration of the world. Magellan, all those folks. Like, there's something in us ingrained by God. To like, when I was a kid, we would go to the creek, right? We'd go down to the creek and we'd play in the creek. But then we was like, hey, where does this creek go? The water's going that way.
Where does it come from?
Where's it go?
yeah.
Where does it come from?
What-
And then we were like, I'm going to follow this all the way to the end. We didn't know it went to the Missouri River eventually, but we were like, let's go down this creek as far as until, we're scared that our
Right.
mom's going to beat us.
Well, I mean, it's completely biblical. What did God say to man? What did he say to Adam?
Go.
Take dominion over the earth.
Take dominion over the earth. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how are you going to do that? You can't do anything about it until you go look at it,
Yeah.
figure it out.
And so as we get older, this was kind of my question. As we get older, I'm the youngest of the three of us, thankfully.
Yeah, that's why you're charging our glasses, because
Yeah.
the lower ranking
I
person
poured.
always charges the glasses.
I poured the glass. Yep. As we get older, you're kind of like, what do I do now? I have enough money to live, to feed myself for the rest of my life. My children are grown. My house is paid off, maybe. What am I going to do with my time? Like you said, I have like 8 days, and you're thinking, what am I going to do in these 8 days? So my weekend, my Saturday and Sunday, is going to get extended to 8 days, weeks, one day. And what do we do? I think where men die is when they're like, all right, I'm going to sit here and watch Judge Judy all day.
Well, the proverbial couch potato.
Yeah.
You know what? In the United States, we have these. I learned this, 10 years ago. This thing called the deadly decades.
Mm-hmm.
Like what do we traditionally do in the United States when someone turns 40? Black balloons.
Over the hill, black balloons.
What?
You basically have a funeral, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and it gets worse.
Yeah.
60,
60.
Oh, life is done.
Yeah.
Now, with the incredible, as bad as it is, that look, if it wasn't for modern medicine, I wouldn't be sitting here today. 2 bouts of cancer, 2 hip replacements, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
If Lewis and Clark during Lewis and Clark day, I would have died at 45.
Yeah, for
No,
real.
no,
You would have got that penile. What was it called? The penile.
I don't know.
What was that called?
And you would have lived a full life at 45.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At 45, you would have been like,
If I had the personality
I'm done.
today, yeah,
because
I
at
would've-
16, you would have gone 400 miles away from home.
I mean, John
and
Quincy
fought off
Adams at
grizzly
12
bears.
years old was the ambassador to Russia.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You're
Yeah.
right. So things change.
But he didn't have Katy Perry to look at on YouTube nonstop. He would have been a degenerate.
You know what? Speaking of the black balloons and all that, because
Yeah.
we keep doing birthdays and you thinking that you're old and decrepit.
Yeah, dude, I don't care about my
I have decided to take a different approach. When you play video games, it's all about leveling up.
Okay.
So this year when I turn 57, I'm going to hit level 57, and you're stuck at level 49. Loser.
No, 40,
I'm at level 57.
48. 48, dude.
I'm
Get it
at
right.
level 77.
See? That's what I'm saying. You're up there.
Like a fine wine.
Yeah,
You should get.
I'm looking down.
You're carrying the high score.
So as men, and you know what? This is something that women hate about men, that we age like fine wine. We get better with age. We actually get more attractive the older we get. And women are like, that's not fair. Whatever. I'm like, hey, man, sucks to suck. I don't know what to tell you. Life's not fair.
I didn't bite the apple.
Yeah. It's actually Adam's fault. But we won't say that. Let's redact that from the show. So, Doug, as you get older, you got this bug to teach, to train, to travel, to learn, and all of that. There's really something very masculine in all that, right? Because as we get older, we learn more, and if we don't pass that on, that's to our detriment. Like, you have to pass on the wisdom. I'm sure you've come across people who have been willing to learn or didn't give a shit what you had to say. And the people who are willing to learn, you focus on those, right?
Absolutely.
And as you learn more, we have like this burden to pass on the wisdom, right? Am I wrong in this? Because I'm the youngest amongst the three of us. I feel like this overwhelming, like, I have a certain amount of knowledge, and I should talk to my sons. I should talk to more people.
Don't think of it as a burden.
It's not a burden. Not a burden.
No,
burden's
that's
the
important.
wrong word.
That's important.
Yeah, that's the wrong word to use.
It's an opportunity to share.
Yeah, opportunity. That's the right word.
Really?
Yeah. Burden was the wrong
part
word.
of it, what we were talking about before is, and I talked about this hunger, right, is an excitement. I try to walk the talk.
How many times have we said that, Kevin?
I mean, when I walk into the classroom and I got second graders there, right? I mean, I'm full bore. I mean, and then sometimes
do you use the white coat, the white lab
no,
coat? Okay,
no,
thank
good.
God.
Come on. Okay. No, sometimes I don't wear all 10 rings when I come in there. But I'll have I'll have a pair of cowboy boots on.
Yeah.
And I'll come in there and and I just bring in this level of energy and excitement. And then they're second graders, right? So, okay.
Yeah, what are they,
so
like
so
seven
so
years old?
But if they if things start to get a little willy-nilly here, I say, hey, listen, I know you're excited, but you ain't anywhere near as excited as me. Mm-hmm. I said, so this is an opportunity. This is a time. All right? And so I need your focus. Mano y mano here, okay? Especially with an individual, Yeah. And, but you got to bring that energy in there and just engage them. I go in, I start speaking in 5 or 6 different languages.
Yeah.
Just saying good morning. Доброе утро. Ви говорите по-русски,
What?
Just, yeah. And that's what. And finally I get to speak it English. Oh, okay. Well, I'll speak English. Okay. And I got them right here, okay. All right. Now let's get some learning going.
Yeah.
How do you pass the wisdom on to your family?
I use the text a lot now.
Text?
Like on this trip,
Uh-huh.
I text. I have a text serve. I've been blessed with 5 children.
Same.
Yeah. Same. I got one.
I don't want to punch you too hard. You'll hurt me.
Yeah, I know. I got to be gentle with that. I don't want to do that. But I got 5 boys and 1 girl. What do you have?
4 girls and 1 boy.
Oh, woohoo!
Yeah. Kevin's going through it. He's had a rough time.
Okay. Yeah. I got my youngest gonna have a wedding in May, so I can't imagine doing 4.
Yeah, his youngest is his daughter is going to get married in May.
Nice, congratulations.
That's what I mean.
My youngest is 17.
Mine's 21.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I don't know why did we start talking about that.
How do you pass wisdom on to your children?
Yes.
Yes.
So So I have this texter of my 5, quote, children, and then 2 daughters in love. All right, I consider them my children. So when I text them, it's dad.
Daughters in love, not daughters in law.
So and literally they've proven themselves as daughters in law love, and so
I like that.
Throughout a day, if I take a photograph or I'm traveling or I'm leaving, like tomorrow morning, I'm on my way to Dayton. This is my program, and I'll send them a little message, but that's not it. What I will do is sometimes I will send them scripture. I will send them where my thinking is, how, just where I am in, and where I am in life and how I got here. That's very
But that's your diary, right?
Yeah.
That's your journaling. It's just
like even
digital.
for me, 4 of my kids still live at home.
Yeah.
I still write them letters
Men.
occasionally.
Men.
I write a
Oh,
physical
write
letter
letters.
and just leave it on their pillow or something.
Nice.
Men of St. Charles County. Please
Fantastic.
come, court these women. They're great.
I'm 0 for 2.
Yes, please.
I'm 0 for 2. I'm 0 for 2 for marriages, and I'll never forget. I in marriage divorce number 1, I would write Adam and Nathan and Adam, my number 1 and number 2. I would write them letters, and I would get castigated by my soon to be ex about writing a letter. I mean,
Well, that's horrible.
Yeah, that's
I mean, I
well-
still write my wife letters, and she's still living in the same house as me.
man. I used to
Yeah.
dude, getting. I don't know if we want to go there tonight,
No,
but let's not.
having too much fun.
Yeah,
But I try to communicate.
my wife is great. My current wife is great. I'm not talking about you. I love you, Caitlin. You're perfect.
I haven't done. I should write more.
It's just something I do.
Because no, but I like that. I used to always write, and I love to write.
Yeah.
I have. You should see these travel journals that I have, diaries.
Okay, so you've done it.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
And I would come back. No one would read them.
Well,
You
they're
know,
not meant to
but-
be read.
Yeah, it's there,
Really?
man. Somebody's
but-
gonna read them.
Yeah, but when your wife, who you love, gives you this beautiful leather bound journal, and every day you write her a letter in there
yeah, but Doug,
about that, and you come back. I'm sorry, I expected it to be read.
All right, so I'm going to give you a short. This
Okay.
is this is the young man to the old man. So my wife and I have a joint journal that we keep in our bedroom, and it just sits on the dresser. It never moves. It just sits there. But whenever the mood strikes either one of us, we will take it and we'll write something that we want to express that we can't say out loud usually, but it's usually maybe it's something that's going on in our minds, or an express, maybe we're
Happening in your life.
something we're being challenged about, or it's a way to apologize, whatever. We'll write it, we'll date it, and then we'll just set it on the nightstand by their side of the bed. And so when you come home, like when I come home from work, or when she wakes up in the morning or whatever, she'll see the diary, or I'll see it sitting there, and I know that she wrote me. And so I'll read it, and like, okay, and I'll respond, and I'll give it to her, or vice versa. So it's a single book that we just
Whoa.
keep in there. And so we're reading it because we're writing in
I've
it.
never
and
heard
sharing
of
it.
that.
It's like a shared thing between her and I.
Do you have multiple volumes? Like, is there multiple books?
I could have used this tip
Yeah.
40
just
years
wanna
ago.
ask, is there more than one volume of this?
No, this is the first one we've done, but it's over several years.
Okay. Yeah, because I would imagine
Isn't that
like
nice?
you have a lot of
I love that.
verbal conversations.
We do.
Right?
Yeah,
And
'Cause
not
we do
everything
date
gets
nights.
written down unless it's like a seminal moment.
correct.
Okay.
Like, I
Yeah.
just can't express it out loud, or
You have to put it in like without interruption in your own words.
I want to say it in such a
without-
way that I'm not going to offend you,
Oh.
or I just want to tell you I love you,
Okay.
kind of thing, and just
Yeah,
set it
so
there.
I want to be offended. Like, I want my wife to tell me, like,
Oh, I don't always.
I want to
be
see your
offended.
face when you're saying, like, what you were feeling right now. I want to feel it.
Oh, I don't always.
I want you to tell me, because I'm going to react the way I'm going to react, and then I'll immediately feel convicted.
Okay, so a lot early in our marriage. So we've been married 33 years, just so you know, Doug.
Yeah, I'm a
thanks.
newlywed still.
Early in our marriage, we would have ups and downs,
Yeah.
lots of ups and downs. But as we matured over time, as we got to know each other, we found out that a way to avoid the argument or the defensiveness that you just kind of
The
mentioned,
reaction, yeah.
yeah, we found that it was more important just to kind of write it out. And then we can read it and not be so offended or upset by your tone or whatever. And then I go, oh, that's what she's feeling. Okay, I get it. And then it gives you time to think and kind of write her back and go, I understand what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Nice.
This is what I want to do. I'll
How
make sure I
long
don't
have you
do
been
that.
doing this?
Well, we've been writing each other letters ever since, back and forth since we were dating. But the journal is,
Yeah. He's a different kind of guy.
the journal is only maybe, 4 years old now that we do between each other?
Okay.
Have you ever started to write
I love this
something
idea.
and then crossed it out?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, I've sent a lot of text messages to my wife, and I'll read back because I'm like, it's like, oh, dude, this is really long. And I'll read back through it, and I'm like, there's no way I'm sending this to my wife. This is ridiculous. You're a dumbass. You're a jerk. Just don't send this.
Well, I'm trying
And I'll
not to
delete it.
text.
Right. So you're kind of doing the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
On written. But so you've written stuff out, crossed it out, but still shared it with your wife? Like, I crossed this out because
No,
Changed
by
my
the
mind?
time I'm writing to her in our little journal together,
Yeah.
those kinds of cross-outs are not there.
so that's okay.
I've already played it out in my head.
Yeah, I'm like a strike first, think later type of guy.
Well, and that's fine. That all of that is in my personal journal, and I don't cross nothing out.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay.
Right.
I sure hate it for my kids when they read it after I pass away.
Yeah. Well, this is known as having a draft. You don't.
Right.
Yeah. So
Anyway, we're getting.
I
off
should
track.
take the.
No,
I-
that's great. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I wrote letters to Emma when we were on the Katy Trail.
Right. You did.
Yeah. And I could barely get through, like halfway through, and I'm crying. I was like bawling my eyes out in my tent or wherever we are because it was like very raw. First of all, I just did some physically to my like limit almost. And then, so I'm physically exhausted. And the whole time we're riding on the bikes, where there's no music, no podcast, no books on tape, no, just
Yeah, right.
the
You-
wheels on the gravel
Yeah.
and our conversation between each other. And I'm thinking about how much I miss my wife and my child. And then we pull into the stop, and I would write about the beautiful flowers I saw and the butterflies, and the rain came down, and then all of a sudden, all these butterflies, there was like millions of butterflies came out. You remember that? And it made me think of her. And I could barely write, man. My handwriting just got completely scribbly.
Wow.
And I was just thinking about how much I love my family and how much, but it was the experience I was going through. And I think, Doug, like this traveling you're doing, meeting all these people, it has to be bringing you closer to your family because that's what I experienced.
Well, this trip in particular, because I've really been more systematic with communicating, and I've used text.
Yeah.
Occasionally we talk on the phone, but
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
it's just
I mean, with my
it's
mom,
almo-
my mom is close to the same age as you, and most of our communication is through text, mostly from her. She's texting me all the time, and she always texts me. What she texts me more than anything else is she'll send me an obit for some movie star, somebody who died today.
Yeah.
That's what she always says.
Oh, man.
yeah. Well, I've been using on this last 7,000 miles I've been using the text as like a conversation.
Nice.
Like, I'll be driving along and I'll be describing the changes in the landscape.
You use voice to text, right? Do you use
Yeah.
voice? You talk and text? Because I noticed that about when you're texting me. It's like we're having a conversation, and I'm like using my thumbs.
It's
and
not
like,
composed.
I'm like, how do I respond to this? He just described this like this awesome thing he just saw, and I'm like, yeah, man, that's cool. Send, and I feel like, oh, that doesn't compare to how I'm thinking.
It's not a contest.
No, I know that.
No, it is
But
important.
I appreciate your the verbiage. You like you're talking to me, and I like that.
Yeah, I just the way the program is set up, I have all the text messages, and I just hit the button
And talk.
and I'm driving along going, oh wow, and like I was saying something to my kids the other day, and I went, oh wow, oh my gosh, look over there, right? It looks like, what is that? Is that car hinge? What is that? It looks like somebody has suspended cars and put them on and
Amarillo, Texas. Isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
No, it wasn't in Amarillo.
Where's
It was somewhere in Colorado, I think.
Oh,
it
really?
was.
They did one there.
Yeah,
Okay.
and but it was like mid sentence, like, oh, what the heck is that? I don't know what the heck is that. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how is that going to translate?
I think that's a good spot, Matt, for you to tell us what we're drinking tonight.
Dude, we totally didn't
I know.
incorporate that into our talk. And
What are we drinking?
we are drinking a local distilled bourbon called from Switchgrass Spirits Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
Delicious.
Switchgrass Spirits Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 92 proof. It's a small batch, grain to glass. They call it a sweet mash. The I didn't write down the. Hold on here. The mash bill is 63 corn, 25 wheat, and 12 barley. And it's aged 2 years. They said no less than 2 years, which means 2 years.
Right.
Came in at $41, but $41 at Fresh Time. I don't know. That might be a little cheaper somewhere else. And it is the mashed, distilled, and barreled and bottled in St. Louis, Missouri.
It's an interesting name for St. Louis, Switchgrass.
Yeah, that is kind of strange. Huh?
Yeah. Huh.
A switch is something that Grandma used to whip you with. Well, me.
Yeah, but that came off
yeah.
of Weeping Willow mostly.
Yeah. Yeah, it was horrible. It's 92 proof, so it's not a super high as far as we're concerned. You and I usually are over 100 proof.
Yeah, but one of my favorites is Yellowstone 93.
Yeah, that was really good.
So,
yeah. What did you notice on the nose, taste, and finish, Kevin?
the nose actually was kind of easy with me. It was more very slight caramel, but for me pronounced was like apple pie filling.
Ah,
Not after it's cooked like apple pie.
but just the filling.
The filling as you're making an apple pie.
You mean like you open the can and smell it, or
Yeah.
you made it yourself?
No,
'Cause
like
those are
canned
different.
version
Okay.
of apple pie filling.
Yeah.
And then as far as the palate, I thought it was mildly creamy. Had some hints of oak. And then both on the palate and the finish, it was red apple. So it wasn't like a sweet apple, like a Gala or a Honeycrisp. It was more
Yeah.
like just a classic Missouri red apple.
Yeah, yeah.
And then on the finish, besides the red apple and the oak, scones.
Scones.
Yeah.
I hear that. Okay. Which is like a buttery, doughy,
Yeah.
kind of hard,
Yeah.
dry. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. The nose for me was banana nut bread. It came out like a fresh banana nut bread, like homemade with the spices and the banana, and a little bit of straw. I got. The taste was nutty to me, like a nut butter, not necessarily peanut butter, but almond butter maybe or something like that.
Okay.
And I think that was the wood coming through. The finish was oily to me.
Yeah, that's probably the mildly creamy that I was getting.
I get it. And there was not a real burn at all.
No, not at
Very
all.
smooth finish. And I think that's because the proof isn't very high. What about the color and there's really not much legs to this.
There's some legs, and I put the color like above the straw level, but not quite to the honey level.
Yeah,
like right in between.
Almost honey. In the bottle, it's a bit darker, but when you pour it out, it's not
light.
Quite. Doug, what do you think? If you had to say, what do you smell in this?
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
It's all subjective. If you
I
smell it, whatever comes to mind is true.
Yeah, but see,
Does it smell like whiskey?
I don't have the practice to this.
But it okay.
No. But what I mean is,
yeah,
I know exactly where you're coming from. You know, like because I've done a lot of wine.
Okay.
But I have not done any bourbon.
What does it smell like to you?
Oh gosh, you put me on the spot.
Well, what's it taste like to you?
What does it taste like?
What does it remind you of? How about that?
Yeah. Is there something in your childhood that comes out? Your adulthood, in your experience?
I mean, it's certainly not a John Wayne whiskey.
Yeah, it's not punching you in the mouth, right?
Oh no.
It would be more like Donald Sutherland.
No,
whiskey.
to me, very smooth.
Smooth. Okay.
And I love the way it stays on my palate.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't disappear.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like, it's just like,
hangs out a little bit.
oh yeah, I mean, it's still in my mouth, and I just had a sip a little while ago.
Can you compare it to any of your oceanology experience? Like it reminds you of something. Like I remember that one time I licked the body of a dead great whale or something.
Somebody on the ship slapped me in the face with a shrimp.
Do you want to know what image popped into my head?
Yes, I do.
For sure.
I was on the bow of the Balkash in the middle of Lake Baikal at night going north.
Okay.
And
Is that it?
Just.
Is that your ship?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Been on that many times.
So you're on the bow, heading north deeper into Siberia.
See, I was doing my research.
You sure have. Wow. You're impressive, man. I'll give you a break on the rings.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no, this has been quite an experience for me. And can I buy that at Greens in Columbia?
No, probably not.
Ooh.
What was the experience that reminded you of?
On the Balkash.
Okay.
In the middle of Lake Baikal at night. And just heading north.
Yeah.
So it's not frozen yet, but still in the nice weather.
Oh.
Like the spray in your face?
Listen,
or what is it?
Lake Baikal in the summertime.
It's probably pretty cold still.
It was just heavenly. I'm an oceanographer. People who study lakes are limnologists. And I was challenged by a limnologist from the University of Wisconsin,
Ew.
with his nose in the air.
I hear how you say that. That's
Dang cheesehead.
he had a little limp wrist there.
Guess what it is? The Russians used to call him the penguin. So the penguin asked me, he said, so Doug, you're an oceanographer. You're not a limnologist. You don't study lakes. What are you doing studying Lake Baikal? And I looked at him and I said, what lake?
Yeah.
It's a freshwater ocean.
That's right.
And
the sea, I guess it would be, right?
It's 20% of the world's fresh water.
Right.
And so back to what you were saying, my first.
I would have said, why aren't you studying it?
My first view of Lake Baikal was at the very southern edge. We came around this and then out. Yeah. Just as far as the eye could see.
To the horizon, I'm sure.
Was this lake.
Yeah.
And I went, wow. To myself, I just said, wow, that's an ocean. And so I was at home. You know, I mean, it was a matter of like, okay, how are we gonna do this?
Yeah. So when you're standing
But-
on the bow of the ship, right, and you're looking north, and you're traveling, the engine is pushing you farther north. What are the senses that come to mind?
There's few things more wonderful on this planet than being on the bow of a ship. Whether it's at night when you've got stars, or during the day when there's just water.
I did that on a Carnival cruise.
Well, if you were up on the bow and you were there and just in the moment, and in fact, I've had similar experiences driving through the Southwest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah, me too. Man.
35,000 miles.
Yeah.
You know, and there are times when I'm just all by myself, no radio on in my truck, and I just look out, and it's just like it's like being out at sea.
Yeah.
You know, it really has that same essence of space.
Mark, you get that overwhelming feeling of insignificance almost. Right? Where you feel like I'm just a speck on this rock flying through space. But then it's incredible, right?
Here's the thing. You two spiritual beings.
Right.
No, here's the thing. All right. Came to me the other day. I said, you know, how is it that God can make you you are so small and yet make you feel so important?
You're not insignificant.
It's, you know, so driving through these landscapes, and then when I went up the 101 from San Francisco to Oregon, everything went like this.
Yep.
As
You know,
like
you're looking down at the ocean.
Everything was down and
Yep.
everything was up.
Yeah.
It was really surreal. You know, like all of a sudden, like
Wow.
Yep.
life is wonderful.
Man, that's
Cool.
why I'm so excited, because I took my trip west before I was a Christian. And I'm super excited to do it again as a Christian with a completely different perspective. And I think I'll more fully appreciate it now.
When you realize that what you are observing is God's creation, and then He's given it to you.
Yeah.
No, He's given it to you.
Right.
It's like,
I'm not
oh,
worthy. With the
can
Wayne's World,
how can
I'm not worthy.
How can I not take advantage of this?
What
Yeah.
a statement. I've never heard it that way before. I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Doug,
That's what I feel.
thank you so much for coming
Oh,
and visiting my home. I'm so happy to have become your friend. And I'm so glad I said something that day, which was completely out of character for me, which I told you before was God. That was God's hand that day that put us in each other's way.
I believe it too. That's why I'm
And,
sitting here.
Yeah. And this is a great conversation. You're on Facebook. Can people become your friend on Facebook?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, I think.
How can they find you? Doug.
Doug
Dr.
Williams.
Doug? Can
Well,
they find Dr. Doug's persona? on there?
I think I'm just on there as Doug Williams.
Doug Williams.
Yeah, you're not a
Okay.
very digital person. You told me that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I'm just, what you see is
No
what you
YouTube
get.
channel. You don't have a TikTok.
No, are you kidding me?
You're a man's man,
Listen,
Doug.
thank you for having me here and having wonderful meeting you, buddy.
you bet.
Sincerely. I'll be back. As Arnold would say, I'll
Thank
be
God.
back.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God, man.
Yeah. You know, I'm always looking at the calendar.
Hey,
I may be saying, hey, I'm heading your way.
let's make it an annual thing or a biannual.
Well, the next time I go to South Carolina, I'll look you up because I love going to Charleston.
Good.
I've been there 4 times already. I'm looking forward to number 5.
Look me up.
I will.
You have my invitation.
Okay.
I'll never
Yeah.
be back, Doug. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You know why.
No, this is... No, of course. No, this has been wonderful. Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah. God bless you, Doug. Thank you for the
God
visit.
bless you.
Safe travels. and I can't wait to have more texts from you on your way. And we're going to do Cahokia next time.
Absolutely.
Thank you, folks, for listening. You can find us on Show Me on Facebook at the Headspace and Tasting Podcast, and on Instagram, although I never do anything on Instagram. And you can
Is that still a thing? Instagram's still a thing?
Well, I think it's still there.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's hijacked it yet.
Oh, okay.
And then if you want to reach out to us, make a comment. We love to hear from you on our Facebook page. We're also on YouTube at the Headspace and Tasting Podcast.
Spotify is the best way.
Yep, and you can comment on both of them as well. And
Thank you, Gail, for commenting. We love you.
Right, and then you can also reach out to us through email at showmemk. That's Mike Kilo, as Matt always says. showmemk@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening.
We haven't got
everybody.
an email yet, have we?
No, I never got. I think I got one from Rachel with just a thumbs up.
Our number one fan.
Long
2 fan.
time ago.
Number 2 fan.
Like, I think I was after show 4.
Well.
And this is show 89, so.
Oh, my gosh.
All right.
Oh.
Bye, folks.
Peace out.